I've reviewed a lot of books that I like. Now we're going to look at some I didn't. Today we're going to be looking at the Sunset Warrior series by Eric van Lustbader. So you know it's going to suck. The saddest thing about this series is that it has a lot of really good ideas, but it does them very, very poorly, as an understatement. Broadly speaking, the series follows this hero with no personality, a guy named Ronan, who wanders around the world until he becomes a demigod. There, I sent up 3 books for you so you don't have to suffer through them. The Sunset Warrior series opens in this underground city called Freehold. Basically, it's all falling apart. No one really has any knowledge of their history before they entered the underground bunker, and there's factions forming among the elites underground. The main character, as befitting his name, doesn't follow any of them, but instead follows his own agenda. All throughout this entire story, though, we're never really told what he does for a day job or what his responsibilities from day to day are. He kind of lives with his girlfriend, who's a healer, and seems to be like a freeloading bastard. One day, he rescues the scholar, who sets him on this quest to explore what exactly lies below the city of Freehold and the true origin of the city. He basically finds out, in order to stop some kind of cosmic horror thing that's never really truly explained, he needs to use this magic scroll, have it translated, and basically become a demigod. And so he fights his way out of Freehold after returning, and that's when the second book begins. It opens cool enough. He and his buddy dig up this old vessel and use it to cut across a frozen sea. Then there's sword fights while they're going across the ice. But from there, it's all downhill. Then he arrives at this crime-filled city that's like halfway between 1930s Shanghai and feudal Japan, as if the place he came from wasn't feudal Japanese enough. We learn that the name of this cosmic horror being is called the Doll Man. Yes, the Doll Man. Book 2 ends with the main character hopping on a boat for another pseudo-Japanese style country, this one perhaps the most blatant. So, book 3 starts. There's some weird mutant creatures on flying magic boats that are never really explained that they fight. Then he battles a bunch of kind of Aztec, kind of Mayan gods. And then he goes to the pseudo-Japanese country. He gets involved with some local politics, and then a bunch of weird shit that never really gets explained happens, and he becomes a demigod. Then he banishes the cosmic horror monster at the final battle, and it ends. Then there's 2 extra books after this, and they're even less sensical than these 3 are. In addition to the sloppy writing, the really bad editing, the plot holes you could fit a 747 through, there's a whole lot of uncomfortable cliches here as well. For example, the main character is kind of described as a Caucasian character, the only one in this world apparently, and everyone else is kind of like pseudo-Asian for lack of a better term, yet the main character is able to kick their butts most of the time. Then there's the fact that a lot of these cultures all tend to be variations on some kind of cartoon version of Japanese history. The tragedy is that this series really has some interesting ideas, like the underground city where disputes are solved through ritual sword fights, the Shanghai ripoff, or the Japanese-inspired fantasy cultures, or the random fight with the Mayan gods could have been handled in a much more interesting manner. There is a good plot twist at the end of the first one, but that doesn't make up for the rest of the series. So if this series, for some reason, sounds interesting enough to you, just read the first book and pretend anything after that does not exist. So, I hope to see you all next time, here at the School of Night.